What is up, guys? James here from the Light of Riga YouTube channel, and today we're going to do another pick a card reading. The vast majority of us are probably under quarantine right now, and looking at social media and talking with people, I get the very real sense that a lot of us have no idea what to do. We're bored silly, we're not used to this sort of restriction. I am, because this is the life I lead, so this is nothing new for me, but I feel like a lot of you could use some guidance maybe, and that's what we're here to do today. We're going to be taking a look at three things: what you should focus on during this quarantine, what you should ignore or release during this quarantine, and a message for you during this quarantine. So hopefully this reading will give you a sense of what you should be focusing on, what not to be focusing on during this time, this down period, I guess you could call it. And hopefully it'll give you some insight into the quarantine. Okay, we're going to be using three decks. The first is the Anna K Tarot. That's going to tell us what to focus on. We're going to be using the Tarot Z, which is going to be telling us what not to focus on. And we're going to be using the Sacred Power Oracle cards, which will give us our final message. And we've got three crystals here. All of them are quartz. All of them have rainbows. I wanted to bring some rainbow quartz into the mix. So that's what we got here today. We've got a Colombian Lemurian. We've got a Manganese included quartz. And we've got a Diamantina Quartz. So this one's from Brazil. No, excuse me. This one's from Colombia. Colombian Lemurian. And these two are from Brazil. And I would like you at this moment to take some time and just tune into the crystals and figure out which one is right for you. Which crystal are you drawn to? Which crystal do you resonate with? And that'll be your pile for this reading. I'll put some timestamps in the description so you can skip right to your reading. Okay, so give it a moment and pick your crystal. Alright, we're going to start off with the Colombian Lemurian. Ooh. This is a Lemurian crystal from Colombia, as you might expect, and it's very hard to get rainbows to appear on camera. I can see it right there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but this thing is filled with rainbows. These were found in Colombia, and they're just so clear. The clarity is insane on these guys, and they have such a high vibration. I can't tell you. I mean, you could maybe feel it through your screen, but such a high vibration. So if you pick this card, you might be, or this pile I should say, you might be a high vibe type of person. There's the rainbows there. Can you see it? Does it come through? Sort of. Just sort of. Anyway, the first card we're going to look at is this one. Let's keep this on screen. Is the Anna K Tarot, and it represents what you should hold on to, what you should focus on during this quarantine period. And we've got the Empress. Give me a moment to go into this card. So the feeling I'm getting from this card is you should really be focusing on the abundance you have. It's so easy at this time when we're being fed fear porn on the TV or through the internet by our media telling us what we should be afraid of. It's very easy to start looking at what we don't have or what we lack. Oh, I don't have enough toilet paper. I don't have enough food. I don't have enough blah, blah, blah. My health is no good. Whatever. This card is saying what you need to be focusing on during this quarantine period is what you do have. You have your health, you have your family, you have enough food to survive, you have a roof over your head, right? You have all these positive things, and it's very easy to fall into this negative ego logic spiral of I don't have what I need. Oh no. So don't do that. This card is saying you have so much abundance around you that you need to focus on that. And that's the only way to create more abundance is by focusing on the abundance that you do have. So if you want more good stuff, focus on the good stuff. If you want more bad stuff, focus on the bad stuff. It's so simple, guys. Okay. Let's move on over to this next card. This represents what to let go of this quarantine season. And the next season of Quarantined. We've got the Two of whatever it is. The Two of Wands. Give me a moment with this card. The feeling I'm getting here is avoid pre-existing doctrines. What I mean by that is, this society has a set of rules that we have sort of followed, right? And I think what this is saying is that this is a time of renewal. This is a time of rebirth. And if we're going to be bringing old energy into the future, that's not going to work for us, right? We're trying to rebuild here. We're trying to use this. If the dark forces are going to use this virus as a way to bring more darkness, then I think it's up to us to use this virus as a force to bring more positivity. And I think if we're going to bring those old paradigms into the future, then it's not going to work out for us. So I think that what this card is saying is that leave your old kind of belief systems behind. Your old belief systems have crumbled at this point. They're not working for us. I think that much is evident. And we need to kind of bring in some new energy is the feeling I'm getting from this card. So, kind of look at yourself, look at your life. What kind of old belief systems do you have that aren't serving you any longer? And release those. And a lot of these are going to be implanted in you by society. So it's going to be very hard to recognize them because you've had them for so long. They're just part of your belief system. So it's going to be a difficult one to kind of pinpoint and place your finger on. But I think if you really are honest with yourself, you can see what's no longer serving you, what belief systems no longer serve you. For instance, this is just an example, the political system, right? It doesn't work. And it hasn't worked. This is just an example, just off the top of my head, but they're never going to let you vote in someone who's going to change the status quo. Never in a million years will that ever occur. So, just putting that out there. All right, let's look at the message. The message it has for you, Spirit has for you this quarantine season. And we've got personal power. And it's very fitting that is a feline. Felines don't take any guff from anyone. They know exactly how powerful they are, and they're not going to let anyone diminish their power. That's the feeling I'm getting from this card, is don't let outside forces diminish your power. You can't tell a cat what to do, because the cat is so sure of itself, sure that it knows what it wants, that why would it listen to someone else, right? That's kind of the energy that you need to embody this quarantine season. You need to step into your personal power and see how powerful you are, and use that power to influence others in a positive way. Right? I think the time of being influenced is coming to a close. I think for those of you watching this, I think you have a feeling that your energy is needed at this time, and you can't spread your positive energy around if you don't believe in yourself. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm getting here is step into your personal power, believe in yourself, and things will be just fine. Okay, so that's the reading for my Colombian Lemurian friends. I hope you got something out of that. Leave a like if you did, and I'm going to move on to the Manganese. Alright, this reading is for those of you who chose the Manganese Quartz. I salute you guys, because manganese is not the most impressive quartz to look at. Right off the bat, you're not going to be drawn to it, maybe. Aesthetically speaking, look at those rainbows. You're not going to be drawn to it aesthetically speaking, but the energy of manganese quartz is intense. It's very powerful. This is regular clear quartz that has manganese inclusions, lots of rainbows inside, and it's a great crystal for finishing projects and believing in yourself and being motivated. It's great for groups. So if you're working in a group, this is great for the group to work towards a common goal. So yeah, it's not the most beautiful crystal, and if you chose it, I highly respect you for choosing a crystal based on its energy rather than its aesthetics. Or maybe you liked how it looked, and that's cool too. Alright, let's get on with this reading. First card we're going to look at is this, the Anarchy Tarot, and it's going to tell us what you should focus on during this quarantine season. And we've got the King of Swords. Give me a moment with this card. To me, this is about problem solving. And the feeling I'm getting from this card is that many of you may have some lingering problems or issues that you can spend this time working out. Right? This is a great time to sit down and think. And figure things out from a logical perspective, because you got all the time in the world, right? It's so easy to turn on the TV and veg out and forget about the, your life, right? But don't do that. This is a thinking man, this King of Swords, and he's figuring things out from a logical perspective. So if you've got an issue in your life, or if you, this is a general reading. So what does it mean for you? What problems, what issues, what lingering complexities exist in your life that could use some figuring out? And I think this is going to be a great time for you to figure things out, use your logic mind, and come to some determinations, right? Yeah, this is going to apply to everyone in a different way. So what do you need to figure out is really the question I'm asking. and you can spend your quarantine time figuring those problems out. You're a very intelligent person, I can tell from this card already. All right, let's move on to this card, which represents what to ignore, what to not focus on, whatever, during this quarantine season. It's the Tarot Z, and we've got the Moon card. Give me a moment with this. Okay, the feeling I'm getting from this card is now's not the time for social isolation, right? I know that our governments are telling us to isolate, but that's not healthy. And I get the feeling that you need to see people. So while it's, you could crawl into a hole and come out in 2-3 weeks and things will be just fine. I don't think that's exactly what you need to be doing. I think what you need to be doing is interacting with people. Now, this doesn't mean you have to see them physically. I mean, you could call them, you can Skype them, you can do all sorts of things that involve interaction without actually interacting. Or if this is, if people are in your home quarantined with you, don't lock yourself away. Spend time with them. I think is very important for you, and really connect with them, because isolation is painful for a lot of people. Some people love it. But for you, I get the feeling that you need to be with people. So, while I'm not suggesting you go out and mingle in crowds of 300, I am saying that you shouldn't be totally isolated at this time. Alright, let's move on to the Sacred Power reading card, and we're going to see what message it has for you this quarantine. We've got compassion. Give me a moment here. While the card kind of suggests compassion for others, the message I'm getting from this card is compassion for yourself. I think this is really a time for you to focus on the self, as much as you possibly can. What do you need? What are your needs? How can you fulfill your own needs? I know I suggested hanging out with other people in some way. But you also need to focus on yourself. I think it's very important. I think, we can get wrapped up in all this drama, thinking about the world, thinking about other people, thinking about, what's happening outside of your home. But what's going on inside? What's going on with you? What are your thoughts, your fears, your joys, your motivations? And I think this is a great time for you to come into more understanding of the self. So if you don't meditate, meditate. That's always my advice for everyone. Meditate. And that'll help you to find compassion for yourself and to love yourself. So be sure you're loving yourself this quarantine season, because it's very important for you. All right, I hope you got something out of that. Leave a like if you did. Put some comments in the comment section. And I'm going to move on to the Diamantina Quartz. Alright, this reading is for those of you who chose the Diamantina Quartz. I just figured out how to pronounce it in a Portuguese accent. It's Diamantina. Isn't that cool? I always said Diamantina. It's Diamantina. Anyway, this is a clear quartz, and the clarity is fantastic. The quartz from this region is, this is where they find Lemurians. So while this might not be technically considered a Lemurian, it comes from the same place, and it's just beautiful. It's got so many rainbows. I just don't know if I can capture it on the screen. Oh man, this one has so many rainbows. I can see it. Can the camera see it? Sort of. It's so weird. Visually, it's huge, it's striking, but I'm looking on the camera screen and it barely comes through. That's so sad. It's just not the right lighting. If you take this outside in the sun, there's like a huge rainbow, just like right there. Anyway, it's a high vibe quartz, and if you chose it, you're probably high vibe type of person. Let's put it over here. All right, the first card we're going to look at, it's got time link windows too. I forgot to mention that. Look at the time link window. Oh, time link future. I don't know. I love it. I love it so much. Anyway, first we're going to look at the Anarchy Tarot, and it represents what you should focus on this quarantine season. And we've got season like it's gonna come around every year. We've got the Eight of Swords. Give me a moment with this card. The message I'm getting here is that this time is a fantastic opportunity for you to kind of realize your self-imposed restrictions. We all have self-imposed restrictions. It's a result of our belief systems. It's a result of our ego mind telling us negative things about ourselves or about our world that we live in. And it's just limiting, right? You need to realize that anything is possible. You need to realize that you are an aspect of God, source energy, and you are capable of anything that you possibly could imagine. But you have to shed those restrictions that you've imposed on yourself and that society has imposed on yourself. And that's going to be a great thing for you to focus on this quarantine time, because you've got all the time in the world. Now is the time to look at yourself in the mirror. Not literally, we don't need any more selfies on Instagram, but we need people to look at themselves in the mirror and really analyze the self and really figure out how you have restricted yourself. How have you slowed yourself down? How have you stopped yourself in your tracks by the things that you believe? For instance, if you believe that I will always be in poverty, guess what? You're always going to be in poverty, right? If you believe that you're ugly, you're gonna be ugly, okay? But the opposite of that is true. If you believe you're rich, it's only a matter of time before the universe says, yeah, you're rich. If you believe you're beautiful, the world will see you as beautiful. Do you understand? Okay, so that's something to focus on this quarantine time is how you've held yourself back. I know that's hard to hear. We've all done it. We all continue to do it in some way, shape, or form. So I'm not singling you guys out. I'm saying I do it too. Okay? All right, let's look at this card. This card represents what to not do. The opposite during this quarantine season. We got the Lovers. Give me a moment with this card. All right, the feeling I'm getting here is attachments. Sometimes we get too attached to things. And, if you ask any Buddhist, they'll tell you that's not good, right? So the feeling I'm getting from this card is that this is going to be a great time for you to realize your attachments and kind of break away from them. Some attachments are positive, and maybe we can save those for later, but some attachments are negative, and we can kind of focus on those first. So where are you attached? What are you stuck to? What are you clinging to? And that goes hand in hand with this Eight of Swords, right? If you're going to shed your negative belief systems, you have to realize what your attachments are. I mean, those things go hand in hand. So I think what you really need to understand here is that you have attachments and it's not good to attach to them. So what could this mean? This could mean you're attached to the internet, for example, or you're attached to fatty foods, or you're attached to shooting heroin in your brain. I don't know what you're attached to. This is a general reading. Is going to be different for everybody. I know none of you do heroin. I'm just joking. I'm trying to get some levity here. But stop being attached to it. I know it sounds like easy to say, but if you focus on one thing at a time, you can slowly remove attachment after attachment to the point where you are perfectly content and happy with just being you. That's all you need. Sure, you might need water and clothes and food, but those are some attachments that we can work on in the distant future. Okay, let's get rid of porn or whatever you're attached to first, right? All right, let's move on to this last card. And this card represents the message it has for you, it being Spirit, this quarantine season, the next season of quarantine. And we've got Intuition. Give me a moment with this one. Kind of off kilter here. There we go. Yeah, give me a moment here. Oh, this is instructions on how to do this. Third eye vision. Okay? Your third eye sees all of this clearly, right? Your five senses are almost completely unaware of this. Well, not almost, definitely. They're completely unaware of your attachments. They're completely unaware of your negative belief systems. But your third eye sees it all. And that's how you're going to figure this stuff out, is going through the third eye. So what does this mean? This means meditating. For me, that's probably the best way to do it. Meditation is going to help open up your third eye. If you have a daily meditative practice, your third eye will open slowly but surely. Another thing is to stop drinking sodium fluoride. Stop eating low vibration foods like animals. There's so many things. Sun gazing, look online. How do I open my third eye? You'll find hundreds of practices and ways that you can do it. And I'm just going to suggest meditation. But that's how you're going to see these things, right? That's how you're going to become aware of these things. That's why it's so important to be self-aware. And being self-aware means realizing that you have 6 senses, not 5. You have 6. It's just that one of your senses may have been shut off by society. Yes. And so open up that third eye, use your intuition to see your self-limiting beliefs and your own restrictions, and you're going to have a great time this quarantine season. All right. So that's the reading. I hope you got something out of that. Leave a like if you did, and put some comments in the comment section. I hope you have a happy and safe quarantine, friends. Adios. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, all those things. Happy taroting. Peace.